Charlie, would you like to?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's a long, long road that I've had in politics. May 1971, I was first elected to the Borough Council in Colchester. I followed when local government reorganisation came along. It changed to the district council. I was a member for Central Division on the county council. Throughout my life I've helped people whether I've been on a council or not. And I think it's about time that I sat back, took stock and slowed down. 7 years ago I had an operation for cancer which has come back. I'm on dialysis 3 times a week, and 3 weeks ago I died. Fortunately, as Josie said, I was in the best place possible. I was being taken off dialysis machine. They pushed the button, the chair went back, and within 55 seconds they'd actually shocked me for the first time. It took them 20 minutes. I remember coming to at one point, looking up and saying to one of the girls, "If you don't stop hitting me, I'm going to thump you." And she said, "It's true, I did." And she said, "It's for your own good, Charlie." And I went again. When I finally came back, I was on a trolley. My legs were tied together because I'd been struggling so hard. Apparently 2 of them were sat on my arms, 1 was sat on my chest thumping me, and so it went on. I'll be forever grateful to that bunch of young ladies. I know Ken knows one of them. And they got me back, and I sat in the ambulance, or laid in the ambulance for about a quarter of an hour before they took me off to City. I remember very little of what happened after that, but I've now been fitted with a defib pacemaker, which I found out today is working quite well, so I'm looking forward to a decent future. What I will say, it's nice to see so many faces that I remember from a past life, so many. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask the council if they will allow me a 6-month sabbatical where I can sit back, do very little apart from recover. And I would ask that you indulge me in that, and I thank you for everything that's happened so far on this council together. And tonight I hope to say something about this building, actually, because I think this is one of the best things this council has ever done and ever will be. But thank you, Mr. Mayor. If you will grant me that 6-month sabbatical, I would be grateful.
Charlie, I've said over the phone, you've got that.
Yeah.
I'm formally proposing that after 6 months normal, a further 6 months is given, and that's the maximum amount of time. You can come back any time you want before that, but that's the maximum by law. From today's date, that gets you 12 months to today's date.
Okay, well, thank you, Bob. That's appreciated.
I formally propose that, and I hope that the council will vote unanimously.
Unanimously.
Thank you. Thank you.
David, second.
Yeah, Chair, just in response to that, I think that I'm talking to the ghost of Charlie Robb here, and what they had to do to get young ladies to give him some attention. Obviously worked very well. The young ladies obviously wait for him. But yeah, it's a good thing. He needs to have this time off. And I'm sure everybody understands that as for what he's just said, but I think all of us as a council will miss him.
Oh yes, definitely.
Can I just ask you one thing,
Yes.
Charlie, did you ever get there?
The pearly gate.
Well, I no pearly gates. I remember I went, strange feeling in my head. Everything went down to a line of pixels, coloured pixels, and nothing.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. We were locked out, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, right.
Stood outside last 5 minutes more.
Should we ask for prayers at this point?
You say prayer, please.
Yes, sir.
Father, as we gather together tonight to discuss various aspects of life in our time, we ask for your guidance and your wisdom and your discernment. Help us to work together for the common good and for the benefit of every resident here in Eastwood. We ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Well, there's no apologies. Declaration of interest.
On item 11, the Golden Service, where you're discussing contracts, there is a contract. One of the contractors is a personal friend of mine. At that point, I'll leave the meeting because I feel that it could be presumed that I've got a personal interest, although I'm not.
Yes, please.
Allotments. Thank you.
Allotment.
Yeah, but you know, when you're discussing these contracts, obviously I'm just a labourer on an allotment. Susan's the allotment holder, so mine would be a non-pecuniary interest.
Yeah. Not mine as well.
Bob,
No financial gain.
one of the applicants for which wants to go to service is a neighbour, so I better go with that.
Yeah.
Notification of lobbying.
Mr. Mayor, before you go further down the agenda, could item 5 be moved down the agenda? Because I would like to get the budget, which is the main business of this meeting today, done and dusted early, so we can move on to other things, because I want that to be discussed in its entirety. So,
That's agreed, Bob.
thank you.
Right, minutes of the town council meeting. We have had one. This is coming up.
Councillor Bagshaw came in with an alteration, which I put in your copy of the notes. Are you happy with that addition?
Yeah, Chair, I think it's only right that we have this inserted. We wanted to talk about crime, and when we know about crime that happens in Eastwood, the response was, what's it got to do with you, kind of attitude. You know, I can't divulge that. Well, that to me is not right. There's people here, there's people in Eastwood that should know what the police are doing with these people, that most people knew who they were and what they'd done. And he decided that it wasn't in our interest to tell us. That is totally wrong. And as I said in there, I think we should make sure that we write to Inspector Ragg and ask him to formally put it down in writing of what happened there. In actual fact, I know what happened, so...
Keith, you've got the present on this one, and then further down we've got the absent. Which one's that? What date? Oh, we've got absent there. Which one's present on? Is that one? Yeah, you won't take that.
Can I formally move as amended the minutes?
Yep. I'll second it, Bob. All in favour? Right, budget stuff.
For the extraordinary 2 minutes.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were going to block apart from that whole three.
Well, I formally move the second minute.
All agreed? Yep.
The budget. I can get to that. Some principles we've used for the budget. First of all, we will not be proposing any increase for the ratepayers of Eastwood to pay. The precept will go up slightly, but that is because there is more properties in Eastwood, and therefore we're taking that tax. But as regards what you paid last year will be what you paid this year. I'll now go through each budget heading, and please just chip in as we go along. On allotments, I've put in another special measure because we need to get this asbestos sorted. It needs doing this year, and I've also reduced the water rates down to 700. Now, I've done some research on how much the allotments have been running, and this year there's only been one water bill, which was 217. So there's been some clawback of the deficit, but I believe in March there's likely to be a bill. The water bill normally comes right at the very end of the financial year, so that will rise, and there's another small item that we've got to get done on Derby Road allotment. So the allotments are still the deficit could well go up next year, even though with the rise. So I am planning that's £220, which is only a token amount, goes back into clear the deficit or start building a reserve for allotments, because that long term it has to be that the general fund doesn't support the allotments, but the allotments stand on their own feet, and money raised from the allotments is only used on the allotments. It's a long term aim, but that is a token amount to show that we're going in the right direction.
Just going back to that removal of asbestos, is that 500 quid enough?
I don't know. I haven't got quotes. It was a figure out there. It was 600.
I do have a quote here, Councillor, of 695, and I've actually had a chat with them. He will hold that quote.
But as it say, I had to have something in the budget, and that at that point that was the information I had.
But that 220, Bob, will cover the 695 altogether.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It's
yeah.
but it's the way we want to move it forward.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The rise will come. It needs to come in for the following April, as was agreed. I don't. We probably need to do some more work on that in the next couple of months to just check to see whether that will start making the finances with the allotments correct.
You'll have got rid of that £500 for the asbestos anyway.
Yeah. So
Carry forward to next year, that could be
yeah.
part of it.
But we need some proper figures working out. That's
right.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's what we're proposing for the allotments. It's at this stage it's a 220 less than income. The main section of the budget is talking about the community grants and community activities. We're carrying on with civic initiatives, which leaves a pot of money for if anything comes along in the year we wish to do, because it's a long time it's over 15, 16 months to the end of the budget. So that's what the top line is. The grants are going through as before. We believe that's a priority. The garden services. I've looked back over the books and that is how much money we've been spending over the last years. I'm putting it in somewhere around there, so you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years that we've had.
6.
So that although I've reduced the budget,
It's been round about 6 grand.
Yeah.
It's covered it.
it will still carry on covering what we're doing.
Yeah.
So it's no reduction in services, it's just a budgetary thing because it is a tight year.
Is that through lack of uptake then?
It's lack of uptake rather than
Yeah.
us not. We haven't pulled back at all. Now, so that's the garden service. Remembrance Sunday. While I'm on the council, I want to make that carry on. If other organisations won't help us, I'm having a go at some of the organisations. I say this council needs to make sure that takes place, and we'll do everything we can to make sure that happens.
100%.
The Christmas lights, this is not the switch on, this is the agreement we did for the upgrade, which wasn't very good. We need to speak to them, particularly at the bottom end of town was a bit dull. But I thought we have spoken. I've been on holiday a week. That is the carry on with that commitment we made. We said we'd do it over 3 years, so that's the second payment. And the 6,000 is for the switch on, which is is the same as last year.
Yeah, people look forward to Christmas lights, and the display wasn't very good this year. I think we've got to put it back to what it used to be. We've had very good lights in the past, and yes, let's go forward, because this is something that people look forward to at Christmas time, is to switch on the stalls and things like that they can visit. And let's carry on with it and try and make it better than it has been in the past. And we've had some very, very good switch-ons in the past with some very good lights. So let's go forward.
It's deteriorated since we weren't able to put the lights, string them across from down from Plumtree Way right through Eastwood, and then they do that little bit on the end near the old Nelson, that little bit, and they were absolute, excuse the phraseology, but they were crap. They were so dull that they weren't worth the effort. So our lights have, people come up to see that. They come mainly to see the fireworks, I would suggest, but also the lights and what goes off around there. And our lights over the last 2, probably 3 years have become dull, and something needs to be done about that. But yeah, I understand that.
The next item is the summer floral displays, which we've already had the quotes and tenders for, but this was actually drawn up prior to knowing of that, but it will carry on. The quotes are inside that budget heading. So the Millennium Clock, the lights, I would have hoped to have replaced them and got them working. The sort of price of money that they're talking about to change a bulb, I'm not going down that avenue. It's too expensive.
You want a bit of blood when they told you.
Yeah. Well into 3 figures to change a light bulb.
Is it something
Well,
that
it's
we
health and
can't
safety,
do?
isn't
Can't
it?
we do
No.
that?
Unfortunately, you have to take
The
you have
clock
to put
apart.
scaffolding around, you have to take the clock apart, how it's been built. You can't get to the bulbs without taking it all apart,
Yeah.
and the scaffolding and etc. etc.
Oh, did you say at one time you're hoping to
Yeah, but I put at this point it's
Yeah,
off the
that-
cards.
Right,
I'm annoyed,
yeah.
but I can't see public money being spent at that level. In previous years, the election fund has been in the community, we're pulling that out into a separate bucket because it's not really that sort of heading. So that's why I've only done totals, because if you totaled all them up, there was things in that's moved in and out all the way through, but that is the total, that new heading, 27,150. The next one is the election fund. A large amount was spent last year. I'm not going into that, but that is a table of what we have spent for elections going back to 2007. Oh, unfortunately, I've got 1 year missed. I couldn't find the records, but it clearly shows what the reserves will end at, because there isn't time now for another election inside this financial year. So there'll be £5,500 in there, and there'll be 2,000. That's with the expenditure out. That's a prediction for the end of this year. So, although we've had a very large expenditure, I'm saying the 2,000 will still be keeping it about the right level. Hopefully, no by-elections. So that's why I have not altered the first sight of the first figures. You'd probably think that would need to rise. Well, actually, I've gone back in the records and proved the point that it's not necessary.
Good.
The salaries, I've got further breakdowns. I have done all the calculations for the new rates of pay as of the 1st of April. Those rates of pay are known because the national agreement, it was a 2-year and it's the 2nd year. I would hope with passing this budget that it's automatic, that on the 1st of April the staff have the rise which has been agreed nationally. So in voting for this budget, you are voting for that rise just to automatically take place. I don't want it to be how it's been this year, where there's been such a long time delay. I've calculated...
I'll just go back on that before we jump on. Did we not always do that calculation on what Broxton got? So Broxton got 1%, we put 1%. Is that how we've done it historically?
Historically, we are always on the clerks' grades, which are part of a national agreement, which is the same as Broxton. So, but Broxton have gone off and done their own job evaluation over the last few years, and the system has gone away from the national. Kind of. It's not as easy to read, but we pay national rates, which is set down for town and parish councils. And that has been agreed at the national level, and all what I'm suggesting is that we implement the national agreement.
Yeah.
So there is a amount in there for contingency, small amount, a 5% contingency in that sum. On closed session I will open up, but I don't want to open up the file because it goes down to individual members of staff, and a public meeting I don't want to do that. The budget is going up without the caretaker to within under 5%. We're having to try to get some of the... I know that's a lot, but we've got to deal with some historical stuff that we need to do. Right, next thing down is insurance. You'll see that's gone down. It hasn't. We need to split, for accounting purposes, our contents and public liability and the insurance for continuity of service away from the insurance for the building. The building is recharged to the different leaseholders in the building. So what I've done there, that heading now will only contain the part of the insurance is to do with Eastwood Town Council's operating, nothing to do with the building. We'll come to a recharge, and I'll give you a sight of another chart which shows where all the things for the building go. The telephones with change of service is within budget this year, and I can't see any reason why to alter the current year's budget. Web and computing, I've given the same amount this year as last year. Postage is staying. Stationery, we've only ordered about 100 and something pounds this year of stationery. Therefore, I've halved the budget. Printing costs, looking at the contract for the printer we've got, £500 is sufficient because it's on a lease arrangement. The advertising, I've cut. We haven't spent anything this year, but I've still kept 400 in. I just don't know what will come along. Subscription to publications, that's historically what we've spent, but that was what we've got budgeted. So I've removed £500. Travel expenses have kept the same in, it's only a nominal amount. Training has been increased. I want certain members of staff to be trained up. It's important that our staff get properly trained. I've put enough money in the budget for that to be paid for.
To be trained for what?
I think members of the personnel committee, I don't really want to go into naming any names now, but it's in order that there is money in the training pool. Office equipment, I've just put that up 200. Accounting and auditing, this is the external stuff. This is not what can be done internally. This is the when the external audit come in, Powell's, that side of it. We are putting up, biting the bullet to the mayoral thing by £200. I think all of us that have been mayors, regardless of the side of the table, have known that the £800 is woefully small for what you actually do. I think it's time that it had a rise. It stayed at that £800 for quite a few number of years. And hospitality, though, because we are being careful on hospitality, we're managing to reduce it. So we've
You nearly negated it.
Yeah, well, I've looked at what they're spending, and I said basically, how much have you spent? And add a little bit on top.
And does that cover how much we spent on hospitality over
This year.
this year? Well done, Josie.
Well, I was looking at the budgets and looking what we actually spend. Being such a tight year, and when I come to the income side, I'll show you why. We've got to make the books balance. So the total admin is 55,570.
Can I just go back to insurance, please, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
You say that some of the insurance is now being taken on by people that are renting in the building. I know that if it's a private house, the only person that can insure it is the owner. Anybody else insures it, they can't get anything off the insurance. How do we stand on that one?
We actually insure the building, but we can recharge that in proportions of laid down under the lease, and hence why it needed to be split, because they're going to have to do a recharge next year. Business rates I have put up slightly. This is one point I have no knowledge whatsoever we've been pushing the rating office to revalue. I suspect it could be quite a bit lower than that, but you have to put in the budget a suitable amount. The gas from last year was totally a figure out there. We haven't got any understanding. I think, and I can show you on the electrical and gas, that's £700. In fact, I'll go into that. Just give me a second. That is my year-end prediction for the gas. That's assuming to the end of March we're using the central heating fully that we've been using over the coldest of the months. That's how I predicted the end of March, so it could be quite a bit less than that. And that's the electricity that I'm predicting we're going to use inside the town council part of the building. There again, this is a recharge from other parts of the building. So we'll go back to that one. So that figure is 2,500, but is total for that. There's only 1,000 of that's ours. I have put a nominal £1,000 for the police electricity and a recharge of £1,000 and 500 for the retail and 500. They are sums that will balance themselves totally out, as we do not make any money on the resale of electricity. It's purely on what's used. But for accounting purposes, we have to have it under one heading because we pay the bill. Now, there is two different pots of money here, or three. That £900 is if we do something inside the town hall. £2,000 is going forward each year and not being spent as a reserve sum for a major capital that might come along in the future. You know, something really big. We need to have money, a reserve fund, new roof, whatever. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'd rather have the money in the bank to pay for it.
Too true.
And the next one, 2,900, this is a bit of, which I'm now going to go on. I'll do the loan. That is actually what the loan is charging per year. 8850. That one I now need to show you the spread in the building. Right. You've got the split. That's Eastwood Town Council, what we pay. That's the retail. That's the police. That's the full value. So the water rates, the building insurance, the fire equipment, that's your fire extinguishers. Your fire alarm system, your maintenance on that. Your window cleaning. Now, we're going to have a caretaker, and there is a need to do things like clean the yard. What I do on every Monday is the safety checks on fire alarms and emergency lighting. That's got to be done by somebody, so it can be recharged to all the occupiers of the building. That's the trade waste that is only to us, and the sanitary waste. We because of the plumbing system, it's not a good idea to put sanitary waste down the toilets. So we've got a specialist contractor in. So that's the total for the whole building. But that's how we get split.
Just coming back into that, this 180 quid for the fire alarm, yeah? Is
Yes,
that maintenance of the fire alarm?
it's maintenance of the fire alarm.
Where's the maintenance of the security and the CCTV system?
We haven't got one at the moment.
Because you need one. Your security system needs maintenance every year.
Right. Well, that'll have to come in as another amount. I haven't got a contract and it was not thought of.
Rather your CCTV just needs to work alone. But the maintenance, testing that battery is very important, which is
Well, I might
your
have to
bell and
read,
your battery.
I might have to read it up.
Yes, yes.
Anyway, you can see who pays what on that combination. So you've got to look at that figure and look at that figure. If you go back to the main budget, I've rounded that figure up. It was 28 something to 2900. So that's how you get the 23,350 for the cost of the building, giving a total expenditure of 110,570. The income streams. You've got the rent from the retail unit, Nottingham's police rent, registrar's rent. That's a nominal amount that I put something in. I don't think you'll actually get any interest at all now how the bank accounts are, but we do get a little. This is one area that's really hit the council, and it's year on year reductions of the council tax support grant. I'm not going to do a blame game of who it is, but the end of the game is we ain't got the money. So we've had to do a tight budget and absorb that where we can inside the budget. If it goes down further, well, next year on year it's going to be an even more difficult task. But we've got to keep going, and we just had to find the money. That's where the precept changes, because the tax multiplier has gone up from 2651 to 2701. That's the bit that gives us the extra money, because we're keeping the Band D tax at 29.43 as it has been for the last 3 years, I believe. Going back to the recharges, there's the allotment rent from this year. That's the increase that we voted on some time ago.
Yep.
That is a minimum. That's what we've earned this year. I think that could exceed us, so actually that might be greater. The recharge, the service charge, service is that, and that's for the police. That includes their electric as well as the building maintenance. So that is the budget that's been put forward. I would hope it could be supported by the whole council.
Yes, Charlie.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can I just say, first of all, Bob, you've done a damn good job. It really is. And one of the reasons that we at Eastwood can do what we're doing here and balance the books is the fact that we've got rents coming in on a building which a few years ago we all took a punt on and said, yes, we'll go for it. Some of us have worked, like yourself and David, very hard to produce what we've got. But I think you've had support of everybody throughout the whole campaign. And it's nice to see that it's now picking up, and in less than 10 years' time, this town will own a very valuable asset, debt-free, on the outskirts of the town centre, which is probably one of the best places to be. And everybody that took part in that deserves a pat on the back. And what is more, the fact that people are seeing that they can rent from us, they can use the building. It's like chamber rent. It's far more now than it used to be down the road. A lot more. And with that coming in, the actual loan itself is paid off, and there's probably another 7,000 or 8,000 which can be used to balance elsewhere. So yes, Bob, I will fully support this, and I would say that you've done a darn good job on it, so congratulations.
Thank you, John.
I'll reiterate that, Bob.
Yeah.
Can I formally move that we take the vote, and I formally propose the budget as laid?
Second it.
Charlie seconds it.
All right. All in favour?
Thank you, Bob.
That took some work.
Excuse me, Councillor. One thing that has been held back is the allotment letters, because you're going to talk about the increase, a further increase in the...
Well, I think we've got this year's one in. I think we need to do some work for the next meeting, because we're inside the year. We can do it at the next meeting to see if the next riser will actually produce the right amount, or whether a different amount has to be. And at that it could be either up or down. But at the end of the day, those allotments do need a reserve in order that if anything comes along big, next time we're not waiting for years to do it.
Yeah, Chair, thank you. Just quickly going back on the budget, which was, we've all discussed, a splendid budget. Just one little point that we ought to make is that it would be pertinent if in future that we got the budget before we sat in here, which was going to happen till I had to cajole the town clerk, and he did some work, and fortunately we got it done. And you know, why couldn't we see that? Because there's nothing in that budget that is controversial. So it would just be an ask that the next budget is forwarded to the councillors in good time to review it before the council meeting.
Or one thing, I did actually finish that off and leave it with the office before I went away on holiday.
So what are you saying? The office didn't send it out?
I'm just saying it didn't happen. I don't know what reason why.
Well, that throws a different light on it altogether. Thank you.
But it had been done. I made sure that it was in a position by the Wednesday of the week prior. Oh, so I've gone past. I think we can do the police, can't we? Or we're going to do members of the public and then the police.
There's one other item. The
I'll do
RFO has
that.
asked me to ask the meeting. We're coming to the end of the financial year, and he would like a couple of councillors to attend a meeting on the 10th of April. 10th of April, to look at the accounts before they're seen by the auditor.
Charlie, me and you did it last year, we were told.
I think I'll duck out this year.
Charlie's
though.
on a sabbatical.
It's on sabbatical.
I'm just
Yeah.
refreshing Charlie's memory.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So,
Would the independents just give a name to the office, please? And we'll do the same.
yeah.
I think you should do police update before we do
Police update.
public questions, because then it'll give them
Yeah.
what's going on rather than some disappear.
Before we start, Councillor, I'm going to hand out some information we've got from the police. Just point out that, as we know at the last meeting, we were talking about police data that didn't really have much relevance to what we're doing in Eastwood. So I'll put this information to you. We have actually got organised a meeting with the police, but it's been delayed until this Wednesday. And we are going to try and organise it so that we've got this data that's been put together to be more relevant to our council. And this is what we've got today. And I've also given you that information that you sent at the last meeting so you can have a look at it. But the point we're making is the fact that we're looking at data that is talking about also Kimberley and
Another area.
other areas, which is not relevant to Eastwood.
No. Sir.
Mr. Mayor, I've just texted my daughter saying that I'm ready for transport. If you'll excuse me, I will duck out now. But what I would want to say, and I forgot earlier on, was I'd like to thank everyone that offered transport to us. There were quite a few people who came back to us and said, if you want transport, let us know.
Charlie, thank you very much. And I'd like to say on behalf of all the councillors, there's 14 of us here, and if you want anything, just ring in.
Well, great, thanks a lot. I've got a little black book of names and addresses.
Oh my God!
That sounds ominous.
The people that were transporting me around.
Yes, yes.
This is great. So, there we
Thank
are.
you for coming tonight, though, Charlie.
Well,
Yeah.
I wanted that budget, Bob, because quite honestly, a lot of work went into it, and I was pleased with it. I mean, I've got nothing to say apart from, yes, it's great. So, there we are. I'll go and join the audience for a minute.
Yes. Sure.
That's where I'll be for the next 6 months or so.
In the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try to get it streaming for you so you can see it live.
Yeah. Lovely. Thanks a lot.
Okay,
No,
Charlie.
I-
All the best. Talk to you later.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk to you.
Yeah. All right.
Councillors, if you look at this information that's been presented to us, you will notice some figures in red. And there's some quite high plus figures. And that is areas where they are beginning to make some improvements. And one of the areas which you'll notice is possession of drugs. That's been a 600% increase in trying to resolve that problem. And also an item of, where was it? 700% increase theft from motor vehicles. So though it's not entirely this area, it is showing the areas that they are the sort of things we've been talking about, they are beginning to tackle. What we're doing this Wednesday Council Longdon and myself, we're meeting with the inspector, and we are going to try and organise it, but we will get you a more appropriate data for that's the intention, more appropriate data to represent Eastwood. That will be the intention of the meeting, and we'll report back to you after the meeting.
I can straddle it Eastwood South.
I think there's a major problem here with terminology.
That's
Their
all right.
terminology and what any sane person would use is totally
There's
different.
It's got
no
very
relevance to Eastwood, does it?
I think if you put the word police area in front of all those names, it would then probably be a bit more appropriate.
Yeah.
I've had a slight update from the sergeant as regards Princess Street.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't enlighten me, as Mr. Bragg says to you, can't divulge information at this point. But we do know, as Mr. David, number one is gone. And all he said is, number 7, watch this space. And the problem that's been down there for a number of years, they have in their house court. but orders have gone out, these letters and everything, and they're all doing a lot of work down there. A lot of work.
I have to say,
That's
Chair,
all
that well, that's fair comment, Chair. I have to say there's a little saying about ducks and whatever, and we've heard it many times before.
Yeah.
We're very interested to see the results of what they're saying. Will they actually do what they say they're going to do?
But what he did say was they're keeping the residents informed. As far as I'm concerned, that's marvellous, isn't it?
As far as I'm concerned, Chair, if they do what they say they're going to do, that would be marvellous so far, because looking at all these red figures here, it's scandal. They're the police, they need to do something about it. And it's no good coming to us and saying, well, they've cut our budgets and we've only got 2 coppers and 4 PCSOs. Not my problem, it's their problem. They need to do something about it and get it sorted out.
Any more questions before we move on?
No.
Okay, that's just read then.
Didn't understand your question. Didn't understand your question.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, didn't understand my question.
Yeah, so the next one is questions and statements from members of the public. Anybody? Yes, Mr.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I just have a couple of items I think you should be informed. In a recent publication issued in your newsletter on behalf of the Democrats, my name is being published as having, and I quote from yourself, held back resurfacing work at the T-junction Hill Top. And also, Mr. Mayor, I understand that there have been further allegations claiming that I have made telephone calls to stop this work. I wish to make it quite categorically clear to this council that these scurrilous claims are entirely untrue and therefore damaging to myself and my history of help and support for this town and its residents for many years. Indeed, I too have served as a member of this town council some years ago with full support and appreciation of the residents of Eastwood. Mr. Mayor, as these untrue claims have been issued around Eastwood, I am therefore seeking a full apology in the local advertiser and the next issue will focus on Eastwood in your newsletter, to at least go some way to putting the record straight, both from yourself and Councillor Charlton as promoter. In closing, I would ask that this is recorded in the minutes of this meeting. Could I now give you an explanation? I have mail from the Highways Department of the Nottinghamshire County Council, which states, and I quote, "It was decided not to do the section of Nottingham Road at the end of Duffcote Lane," incorrect, it's actually Duffcote Road, "as the volume of traffic we were experiencing at the time was extremely high. The engineer," please note that, "the engineer took the decision to remove this section from the scheme, as if we had carried on there would have been major disruption to the public. Need I be any clearer? Thank you."
Can I ask you a question now?
No, you can't. If you do, I'm warning you, it will go down in writing. I have made no such comments, and if you open up, you'll get caught.
I'll leave it.
Does he not have a right to reply from you? I'm going to say. You say that your allegation is that he's
I'm saying nothing. I'm saying nothing. Right. Carry on.
that's not right, surely.
Any more?
No.
No, every person's got a right to say. Ask the
Sorry,
question.
I've made my statement. What you have promoted
No.
is totally wrong.
Anyway, this will be decided not
I made
to.
what I've said, so please carry out that.
Just a little comment, and I am down at my house. I find that quite strange. Actually, well, I don't. I haven't had that a letter from what he's purporting that said, "Can we have a copy? Just have a look at it and see what actually was said in it." That'd be good.
Might have one in the drawer.
Would you live? You get one.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want one name.
Any members of the public?
Excuse me, did
Yes.
you say that number one had gone?
Yes.
You said no.
Yes.
You weren't last night when they were queuing up at the back door, drugs.
He's gone, he's in Derby.
He hasn't gone at all, they're there. They were there last night. Because of parked in front of our bungalows.
If you're dealing with the same person, now you don't know who he is.
It don't matter, does it?
Well, that's where the drugs.
Yes, I appreciate that, but that person that lives in that building
There last night, the drugs.
is definitely been removed from that property. Yeah, no.
Chair, I'm just going to come in there. I know a bit about it, as does the town clerk. He went for one night into Derby, then was going to come back to Erewash Council. Is that the same guy? So he's not forced to be in Derby. That may be an assumption on your part, and there's nothing to say that this lady isn't right to say that he's back here. We've had it before where they've tinned houses up and said, right, you're going to wherever, and they're back here at 8 o'clock in the morning. So if that's the case, you need then to get onto this sergeant and his crew to say that has it happened or is he back here? Or onto Erewash Council to say what was the outcome of the next day when you were supposed to put him in accommodation. If he's back here, then it's a problem.
I'll check that tomorrow.
And I think that should be right. We should check that.
Yeah.
Got to say that I've seen him knocking around there today anyway. So he hasn't gone far. Yeah. He's still down there where his chair is and still dealing. So he hasn't gone.
Number 7 still
I think
there.
once you start making money, it's hard to leave him alone, isn't it? You'll still keep making it down there.
Unless he's got a restraining order.
Number 1 and number 7.
Not only him.
We'll check that tomorrow.
Can I say one thing though, Keith, on
Yes.
that? They had a response on Wednesday on the car park on Victoria Street. He actually arrested 4 on them on there for dealing. But I noticed there's still some back there dealing anyway, so it's just it's ongoing situation down. It's a problem we've got.
I actually witnessed it myself, Ken, a couple of weeks ago. I've been in the office today and did mention to the town clerk about this, that I actually witnessed this going on as I was going down to my cousin's. I walked down Victoria Street. I was same one, the little car park at the bottom of Victoria Street. 2 youths, if you like, tracksuits on at the end there. Look suspicious. I know it's easy to say, but you know, you're not stupid. And so deliberately or stupidly, as I walked by them, they looked at me, I looked at them, and then I made out that I was suddenly on the phone, and they followed me all the way down Victoria Street. And then I thought twice about it, put my phone away, and as soon as I put my phone away, they walked back up again. And the next thing I knew that there was things being passed over. So I've actually witnessed this on that same car park.
I witness it all the time down there, Keith. I've reported it.
But we don't seem to be getting anywhere with
In
it.
the paper shop at the top of Victoria Street, she puts the newspapers in a shed outside and keep dry for when they pick them up. And this particular day, last week, she couldn't get in the shed. When she pushed the door open, and there's a youth in there hiring up, injecting. So she locked him in, phoned the police. Police come and just let him off. Just says, "Go on, get off." And within 4 hours, he was back.
So once again, Chair, I can quite honestly say it gives me great confidence that they're going to do something down Princess Street. Well,
Yeah. I'm all I'm doing is passing on the information.
I know there is a big presence down there at the moment from walking round, but that's
It's time.
it's not doing that. Walking round, I admit to.
It's who it is. It's the waste of time.
You know, it's still bad area and it's still bad down there. I'll tell you honest truth, I feel for the residents down there it's respectable. I really do. Because got some nice respectable people on Princess Street, and these are the people that are suffering at the moment. And we need something doing drastically and get it sorted out. There's got to be a bigger presence down there, and the police have got to act a lot more than what they are doing in that area. I know I've got a lot more information on that, but I can't say at the moment. So
Anyway.
Yes, Brian.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Is it all right if I keep seated?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Thank you very much. Right, it's just to bring to the attention of the councillors two new projects that's going off in the town and the vicinity during this coming year. Both really is for 60-year-olds plus. The first one, as you know, we did a book on the town which went very well. We've got rid of 300 copies. We are doing a third one. This time we have been to Kimberley to see a gentleman in Kimberley who is what he doesn't know about Kimberley is not worth knowing. And tomorrow night we're going to Ena to ask. Now that will bring 2 miles either side of Eastwood for the older generation that will get to know, if they come to Eastwood, what they can see and do, or if the other people that come from Kimberley to Eastwood or Ena to Eastwood. And the other thing we've got to ask you, and which I asked you last time, we should like some of you councillors to do a little bio on why you decided to set up in council activities, how long you've been doing it, and different things that the older generation would love to read. And I'm talking about these people in nursing homes, accommodation that they can't get out very well, and they love to read 50 years back. And they can talk to you 50 years back as if it's yesterday. But this is the problem when your little grey cells disappear. It's very difficult to talk about yesterday and today. So we are doing it again. We are doing this third book. Hopefully, I will bring a small piece of paper in for each of you to read and decide whether you'd like to do it. We're not pressuring you, but it is always helpful for the older people know who's running the council and what are they doing and what you'd like to see done in the town. Right, that's the first one. The second project is going to come to everybody more or less in this room, probably 1 out of every 3 of you. You're going to get dementia or you're going to get Alzheimer's. Same as cancer. 1 in 3, that's the same principle. What these young ladies are doing now, and they are connected with the doctor's surgery, is trying to get together a dementia cafe. That means that people can be brought to a place for a day, or half a day, have a meal, have a mix-up with the people of their own sphere, with the carers, if they can bring them. Now, these work wonderful. I've been to one at Mansfield, and it was fantastic. You get people in there 70, 80. All of a sudden, they'll start playing old-time records. Suddenly, they're up dancing, they're up shouting, who's this, who's that. It's fantastic for the brain to work. So, it is going to be organised. There's a meeting going to be in May to try and get volunteers. Now, that is always a problem, volunteers. Because to organise these things, you aren't going to get the money from anywhere very much to more or less sort it out. And if you can get a big majority of volunteers in these places, it's fantastic. I would have liked to have brought you a video of the one at Mansfield for you to put up on that screen for about a quarter of an hour and look at it. You've all probably been through that you've had relations with this dementia or Alzheimer's, whatever they call it. And I think we've got to do something now, and I think it's got to start from you people, you 15 here, have really not got to do a lot, but you've got to be able to tell these people, where can we get this, where can we get that? Is there a good fund we can get to get the money?
I've been to one up at Mapley, they're brilliant, the dementia cafes that we do up at Mapley Top, really, really good. We do it through St Jude's and the Catholic Church, I can't remember what the Catholic Church at the top is, but really, really good.
And Eastwood, what have we got? I'm afraid we haven't got much, have we, at all?
Like I say, when they start playing the music and things, they really start to, because they can obviously remember that far back rather than the present day. But yeah, I've been to a couple of matches.
You can get an organised fella come. We deal with the hospital at Mansfield, King's Mill. Now they're fantastic. They've got the radio, they've got everything. They've got the sleeves off these records. It is brilliant how they organise it. But the advantage that we've got here in Eastwood is the doctor's surgery and carers from that surgery are involved. Now that goes a long way when you've got your doctors involved. Now the others, I don't know about Mansfield, but it's fantastic anyway. So that's just to put you into the picture. And if you'd like to do anything towards this book, we'd be appreciated 250 words and 2 photos, just to make it that people's got these things. Some of you had the second book, and I've not had no complaints or been David about it being poor or that, but we've had a wide variety of different things in it, and I think it's gone down very well. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Anybody else? Right, thank you very much. Planning update. Oh, sorry. No, we don't police update.
Yeah, we don't
Planning update.
That's what I said.
Hold on.
But just one thing, I spoke to Dave just now, and he's virtually confirmed that 83A Quincy Street, which is existing dwelling, is going to be made into 4 self-contained apartments there for Help the Heroes.
It's going to be for ex-servicemen, and ex-servicemen alone.
Which would be excellent. They might sort some of those people on Prince Street out.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that this is the best way to go for Prince Street to put these houses into flats, because on the long term, I don't know what's going to happen. But at the moment, I don't object to it, because, as I say, it's for ex-servicemen.
Yeah, no objection to that at all.
No.
The only worry I've got is we've got problematic, what do you call it, you know, I've got stress, what disorder. And we're being in that area with the
Mind you, there
idiots
is
we've
that.
got down there, would it help them, or will it not help
But
them?
I'd
I
assume
don't know what state of health they're going to be in, though, do we?
You know, that's the only thing I've got wrong with it.
Yeah, maybe think they're back in the war then.
Yeah.
You're not for ex-SAS blokes, so
Hopefully, yeah.
The last conversation I had with the officer, he didn't think it was entirely suitable for conversion.
Well,
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Double house, yeah. It's a big
He
house.
didn't think it was entirely suitable for conversion, the officer, and I told him to ring you after he spoke to me.
It's fine. I spoke to the contractor, I spoke to everybody in his dog about it, and once he said that's what he's going to convert it to, and it's for the ex-servicemen, I just said, I'm saying go ahead, mate, because we need to give them all the help we
The
can.
extra hours then on the Martin's shop that turned out to be Tesco.
All I can say is, as far as I'm aware, and I have no reason to distrust this guy or disprove him, it's for ex-servicemen. Simple as, I ain't going into arguments about it. If you want to argue about it, go and talk to the guy. But for me, it's something that it will be greatly received. I'm not sure in the long term that it will always be that, but as at now, that's what it's for.
Thank you very much.
Can I just go on the first application there, Chair? I don't know if Lowell Vale's in Greasley or in Eastwood, to be quite honest. Is this property near the road that goes up to Redgate's Farm? Because to me that's just garden grabbing, and to put two two houses in there while there already is one on the front, I wouldn't be happy with that.
I think these comments have already gone in, haven't they, at this stage? It's been noted.
Oh, well, that's fine. Noted.
Neighbourhood plan, can I have
Yeah.
this out to the audience first?
You got one there too.
Some copies have been round.
No.
I want this slide to know what's happening.
I don't know.
Eh?
Well,
No, it don't, but we're giving a neighbourhood plan now,
I don't know why.
which is done.
I've not heard any, I've not heard any.
We haven't done it yet. We've not done item 9 yet, have we?
No, we haven't done it now.
We're doing neighbourhood plan now, aren't we?
Oh, I don't know, have we?
We haven't done 9 yet, have we?
No.
Update on us, please.
Police and retail.
Sorry?
My mistake. My mistake.
Right, guys, item 9, update on Nottingham Police. That's where the lease for Nottingham Police has been signed. You'll probably notice if anybody's been around today, there's been containers at the back. They are starting work today on the refurbishment of the flat and front area. That's approximately going to be 8 weeks in, out, dusted and police in. Police are expected to move in April.
Good.
We've had a bit of issues with the porta cabins, but we've got over that. Our staff might have to park somewhere else, over the 8 weeks, but we've got a little area at the front where they can put their vans. So we've had a word with traffic wardens, etc., so we've got no issues, major issues with that. So hopefully we're all done and dusted in 8 weeks' time. There is a schedule of works in the office if anybody wants to have a look to see what they're doing and when they're going to be doing it. There is a skip out the front, you've all walked by that.
Yeah.
So that's all okay. It's going to be fenced off as it is now. And they're going to be using the back door to transport any stuff out from upstairs out into the skip. The lease for the retail area is with their solicitor. Our solicitor's done their bit, and it's now with them waiting for their solicitor to complete and sign. John and Liz are in there. They are doing some remedial work in there. They're doing some decoration. But rubbing some of the plaster down because it's a bit rough. But yeah, they are starting work in there. They're hoping to be in there sometime in February.
Is that before the lease has been signed?
Well, no.
No. They did put up 3 months' rent up front, which we've got. And if they decided they were going to disappear and not come back, that would be ours to keep. So hopefully they'll be in there by end of February.
There's bits and pieces still on our side to do on this electrical circuit need attention. We're going to call them in once they've decorated.
We've got a little bit of work to do, but not much.
Not much. And we're going to put a fan heater over the door, one of these down below. The cable's in, it's just getting the heater and getting Bramley over to...
So anybody got any questions on that?
No. We're progressing well.
Okay. Item 10, update on the neighbourhood plan. Bob.
Right. I'll talk about the actual papers. It was decided at the special town council meeting to... There's another one here. That we would go out for full consultation on the A4. This is being covered completely by the grant from Groundworks. We've also managed to pull in 3 quotes, and the lowest of the quotes was considerably lower, so we've gone for that, and we decided that at the special meeting. It's 2,136 complete. With additional work, he's done the layout, and it will be coming Thursday this week, I believe. It will be pre-stuffed into envelopes, and because of the problem explained at the last council meeting, because Eastwood's in 2 sub-postal zones, that's NG16-2 and NG63, it means that we can't do to the whole of them, because that would cover a lot of Greasley as well. So we are addressing them. That's ongoing. Printing the labels, they'll be printed before Thursday. So what we'll need on Thursday, Friday, is somebody to start sticking them on. I've done it in the past for one of the wards in one day. So yeah. So
Can't do Thursday.
Friday, Saturday's going to be more like it.
I can bring it, yeah, no problem.
So that's what our plan is. On Saturday we'll have to do it in the offices rather than in the hall. I believe it could be done in just a few days, and after that they are going to be totally delivered by Whistler, which will come out of the grant in its entirety. So there'll be no money from this council being used for this. It's all been financed by the grant from that we've got. And that'll mean that every household in Eastwood will have a copy, as agreed at the last council meeting. That's more or less the noting. The paperwork I've passed round is the timetable of the public consultations. So if you know anybody who wants to talk about it or come give their views on it, please come at the public consultation or email through the website, which we'll be setting up very shortly, your comments. We do need them in writing so that we can log all of them and take all comments into account. We're at the stage now of redrafting after the comments put forward, so the document has the support of people of the town. That's all I've got to say on the neighbourhood plan, and ask people if they could to come on and put labels on envelopes.
Yeah, I'll go over with the bride tomorrow and see what we can do to help you.
Yeah. But at least we haven't got to deliver them.
Yeah.
Mr Mayor, could our district borough councillor come in? This is indicated that he'd like to speak.
No problem.
Please.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. I just wanted to thank the Town Council for all the work and effort you've put into this plan. As the portfolio holder for this subject, I have seen a lot of plans, and I have to say this is a good one, so well done for all your work and effort.
Thank you.
Could I just point out that if anybody has got any questions or queries, and if anybody talks to anybody about it, we need reasons, not just I don't like that. We need reasons. Otherwise, if you just put I don't know like that, we'll just reject it. It needs a valid reason why this needs to be added, this needs to be changed, this needs to be taken out. It just needs a valid reason, please. Because otherwise it's going to be just nonsense, yeah.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
11.
Oh, I've got the tender document.
Yeah. The first one is the tender document for summer hanging baskets. We did have the tenders officially opened, and they were witnessed. They both witnessed, and these were the prices that came out. They were given the same information, but they come out with quite a wide variance in the price. Well, obviously, we want the council now, having got this information, to make a decision on which contractor we go for some of that.
Mr Mayor?
You've got to write it a bit.
No, this is just the hanging baskets.
Not this one, not this one.
This is the hanging basket.
Oh, sorry.
Mr Mayor, can I formally propose that Premier UK Limited is awarded the contract? This is the same contract as we've got this year. We've gone through the tendering process and we know what the quality is. We would probably ask for a bit brighter colours because there was a bit subdued colours last year, and that was a comment that was made at the tender opening. But with that proviso, can I formally move that Premier UK Limited get tendered the mount in your...
Yeah. All in favour?
Which one we're doing next?
David?
Yeah, sorry, Chair. I was just trying to find out. I was just trying to go through my documents to find out what the tender prices were, and I can't seem to quickly get on to them.
What we've got to report there is the two prices. One at 3925 and then that gate was 7118.
Yeah.
Now, which one we're doing now?
Is the contract for the allotment?
Exactly. Yeah.
We all count that one. Yeah.
Can I just explain that basically there was complaints last year about the quality of the mowing, and it was pointed out by, when I went back to the contractor, that in their view, they do not get enough time to be able, in terms of the number of cuts they're doing at the moment, there's 8 cuts, to be able to get the quality that you achieve. And if you want to get that quality, they're saying to increase it from 8 visits to 14. And then the difference in the price is only roughly about another £600. So it's up to you as council to see, is it worth paying that extra £600 or stay as we are and find some other way of getting that quality?
Yes, David?
Yeah, Chair, I'm just going to come into that. I don't think that's quite the picture. The complaint was that they came on with their grass cutting machine, whizzed up and down and cleared off without actually going and cutting the edge right up to the allotments on either side, which if you're going down one way you'd think you would be able to cut right up to the edge, and the excuse was gardeners don't like grass going onto their vegetables, which is an absolute load of rubbish because it does dry off in days and blows away. That was the main complaint, and I agree with you that they wasn't done often enough, and the grass got quite long, which shouldn't have applied. So we do need more cuts. But the main concern was they weren't doing the job as they should have done.
Isn't the money for doing the additional cuts in the budget?
You don't need 14.
What I don't understand is why have gone from 8 to 14?
Yeah,
why can't they do 10 or 12 or something like that?
I
Sorry?
think 2 extra.
Yeah.
It's basically doubled, isn't it?
It's
a bit
tight.
Well, before when we had Notts County Council, they were doing it. We actually reduced the number of cuts to reduce the cost. That was some years back. It was a sort of what we're talking about now, the 40.
I think what we're looking at, what we're talking about, Chris, I think Salt was involved, Keith as well, was looking at an alternative to do. So what we need to do is do a report on that, the findings on that, and what we've come up with, before we make a decision on that.
And it's not grass cutting time at the moment, so I suppose it should be held from that.
Well, hold to next meeting, because a decision will have to be made
Yeah.
at the next
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah.
And I have to warn that the budget is very tight. And remember, that's the one we'll also be discussing whether the rise for 2018 is the appropriate level.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Right, this is where we go out.
Yeah.
Right off this time.
Yeah.
Does everybody look there?
Oh, I'll
I
go.
don't know who it is.
I thought you were going
I
to
could do.
go and get your mobile lawnmower, Cal.
Yeah, I'll go. They got one, haven't they?
And this is a contract for the garden service. Now, as you're all aware, we have had Nick doing this job for many, many years, but it was decided by the council that it was a good idea to get a second quote, just so we can sort of justify the sort of money we're paying out. And so a second contractor has been approached. He's a local person, and he's come out with the figures you can see in front of you. And then you've got the figures of Chestnut Garden Services, which is Nick's company, with their prices. And you get the three prices, one for the small garden, one for a medium garden, and one for a large garden. And I have shown you the number, if you look at the report, I also show you the number of gardens that we've got in the area and how they've been split up. It also shows you there's been quite a considerable drop in the number of gardens that we're now maintaining. In 2012 we were maintaining 65 gardens and we're now only maintaining 48.
Why is that?
Because the people are deceased and we're not getting people to replace. We are doing all we can, we're advertising it the best we can, but we're not getting the take-up.
Yeah.
We was talking about that, wasn't we, Chris? We decreased in the amount of work we do. We was going to talk to him about how No, we was talking actually was, is it going to cost us the same amount of money for the amount he used to do? We wouldn't have, without the decrease, how much money we're saving on that? Would that be appropriate to put into the allotments and work it that way? Which it wouldn't be no more than what we're normally paying every year to Nick Land.
So I think we have to contact the contractor for that. He was a bit doubtful about the idea, but we can actually approach him again with a more detailed article of what we want him to do. I mean, at this point in time, we've not had the council's opinion on how we should go forward.
This is what I say we should have a report on this and look at it on both sides with Nick and GA10.
Can't the garden people do the mowing of the grass in the allotments now?
Well, not I'm digging it.
It's been suggested to one of them, and they don't want to go on that.
Of the garden services, yes.
They're not interested in doing the allotments as well.
Well, we do ours anyway.
So what you're saying, Ken, you want to get a report on this?
Yeah.
You want us to approach...
Look at the feasibility of working one against the other, isn't it?
And you want to use these two contractors involved as well, this gentleman here as well?
Yeah.
Get all three involved.
I'm sure we could come up with something cheaper and we'll still get a good job done.
I'm not 100% sure that the two we do the garden services would be interested in doing anything to do with the allotments.
So Nick,
yeah.
We already had a word with him, we phoned him up, Chris.
You phoned him up, but you're talking there in terms of him doing his tippings there, weren't you?
We were talking of when he was on about not just the grass, he was on about the hedge cuttings. That was discussing.
I think we need to leave it until
we're doing deferring this.
Yeah.
We'll defer to the next meeting, but we must sort it out in the next meeting.
So that's two things for the next meeting.
They're all relative, they're all linked together.
They're all linked
You
together.
to contact them both verbally and in a letter by letter to say that. Are you all in agreement to that? I assume nobody spoke up, so I assume that we're all in agreement to that.
Yeah.
Lovely. Now this next one is the contract for window cleaning. It is necessary to have a regular window cleaning now that we're multi-tenancy. and we did strive to try and get a local person to do the window cleaning, and we went out for several people, but this was the only one locally that would give us a go. It was necessary to get this contract started, and as it's a contract below the £500, I took the decision, with the support of the chair, to award this contract to a local person who was doing the actual window cleaning at the Chester House when we were there. So we do know about him, and we do know how reliable and what sort of quality service he provides the county. He provided that company. So we have awarded that contract to him, and we just wanted to report it to the meeting that contract has been awarded to RS Cleaning Services Limited.
So that's just for noting it.
Yeah, that's just for noting. The next one is about consultation for an extension to the Public Spaces Protection Order. I did send this out to you all councillors in good time, but no one actually came back. So I presume that you are all happy with the actual area. Or can we get Keith back?
I'll just stop it.
Can we get Keith back? Because I know that Councillor Longden has actually made a suggestion for an extension to the area. Talking, councillors, about the extension to the Public Space Protection Order. I think you did make a comment that you'd already written about an extension that you wanted adding onto this.
Yes. What I put on my paper, because I got it actually emailed to myself, a letter to myself. I didn't know everybody else got one. Asking for approval of what we're saying. And I put on it, I would like to see 3 tons road included, and the park down Mansfield Road where the pavilion is. Because we do get a lot of complaints in that area as well.
What about Coronation Park?
Coronation's already in.
Is it? Okay. They're doing a good job there.
Yes, David.
Yeah, I'm quite in favour of changing things' names and now calling it a PSPO consultation. My only complaint is that we could do all of Eastwood, and this is a big patch when you look at this. We can't please Princess Street. God knows how we're going to enforce this PSPO. That's my problem. Can we enforce it? We can agree with it and say, yeah, that's a great idea, and it is a great idea, but can the police enforce it? Don't think they can.
Well, they have actually, Councillor B, this has actually been in place in another, when I used to work at Broxton, they did put one on Eastwood, they did put one at Stapleford, and they did put one at Beeston. So I do know there's been something similar for many years. Whether it's actually been working, I don't know. But,
in Eastwood, it's Nottingham Road.
Yeah.
That way.
In Eastwood, they just moved them from park to park to park, and the lads used to just move down. They used to follow them around, and then they moved to another park. What I'm saying is, it's all right doing these things. It's a great idea, but at the end of the day, we rely on the police, and I don't know if they've got even the power to enforce it. Oh, presumably they have actually PCSOs. But can they enforce it? Is it a worthwhile job to do if they can't enforce it? We need to go to them and say, can you enforce this, or is it just if and when?
Yeah. The idea of it is being put in place so it gives them the powers to be able to do the necessary arrests, or to get rid of people who are drinking in an area, etc., etc. The point you make is another question, whether they can enforce it, but it gives them the powers to be able to carry out these various moving people along and doing the necessary to enforce any nuisance in that area.
Personally, myself, I think we've got to say yes.
I'm all in favour. I've just said I'm all in favour. You know, we can do it for all of Eastwood. What I'm saying is, my main concern is, can we enforce it?
Yeah, I know.
In fact, it's our last time meeting, Tony will tell you that I asked if, because there was talk at one time of increasing the hours of the PCSO.
There still is.
As far as I'm concerned, it's like when the increased patrols outside schools because parking. If we go down there at this point in time, they cannot give a ticket out. Well, I've got to increase it for that. So they can give a ticket out. You know, but that question was asked. We've not got a reply at this point in time.
See, I'm just amazed. You see, you're one of them who just wants to attack the poor old motorists. That's what the cops do. You know, they get paid the money doing that. Come on. You know, we're talking about a thing here that we're putting into Eastwood that prevents people doing certain actions, and if they're lucky, the cops will catch them if they happen to be just driving past. But can they enforce this new arrangement? Doubt it.
I think we ought.
Yeah.
This is just cover Eastwood. I would like to see this extended down to MFN, the other side of the 610 and down. If you walk down there, there's lots of cans on the side of the road, dumped. It's all people going down to MFN in that area there. They all park along that road now, and they're all drinking. I've seen it myself, they're all drinking. And the noise level coming out of there is really affecting people who live down bottom Church Street and Brookfield even. So if it's going to do it, I support it, I want it, but we need to extend it a bit bigger than that. Okay, it's going to be a little bit harder to police, but
it's going to be impossible to
police. Yeah, but we've got to. As a council, we've got to support it, but we've got to try and push it. That's the ghost.
Yeah, I think we'll all agree with that idea.
There's not the trees on Memorial Park, yeah?
I think that would Kimberley.
No, snap some in Eastwood as well.
The PSOs are going to get increased.
Memorial Park as well.
All they can do is take
I think it's from April. I think it's in the evening post to the meeting.
Eric?
What's that?
Well, we're going to have to support it, I'm afraid, aren't we?
Can I formally move that we support the application?
Yeah. Second that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Proposed and seconded.
Who's seconding it?
David.
David. Right. All in favour? Right. Town Council report. Anybody? I've just got one. Personally myself, Chris and Tony went and saw Morrison's about the footpath and the closure of the footpath at Morrison's. Now, we're waiting for an answer, but it looks very favourable that if the council agrees, once it comes back to the what we discussed with him, and if it comes back to what we've discussed with him, then I'll bring it back to the town council for approval. That's just a report, that's it.
Are you allowed to say what it is, or don't you want to?
No, I'm not at this point, because we ain't got an answer yet, so I don't want to jump the gun.
Thank you, Chair. Noted.
Noted, right. Borough Council, well then, Joffrey.
Apparently the 3rd to the 5th of March is spring clean time. Ken's interested or anyone else. Down at Hopkins Court, 11 till 1, Saturday the 4th of March.
And then skips again.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, they filled 7 last time,
11
didn't
till
they?
1, Saturday the 4th of
7
March.
skips, didn't they, last time?
Did they?
We filled 2 with mattresses.
Filled 7 skips last time,
Yeah.
down there.
I think, Chair, we do this right.
David and I had an email, so I don't know.
They do bring enough skips and they take away enough skips, and people have the opportunity to get rid of loads of stuff that they would normally not get rid of. And better than that, we supply them with hot dogs and etc. So as they come in, they can have the breakfast and take the rubbish. So everything works perfectly well. And the other thing that we did last year, which I was personally responsible for, was getting the weeds done from all the alleyways and etc. It is a problem again, and I'm back on that again to get it sorted out, because we can't just do it because I asked them to. They need to do it, proper maintenance on it, and at the moment they're not doing that, so I'm well onto that.
Right. Can I just ask you one question, Dave? You know the trees down Princess Street, they've been pushing, people have been asking to go prune. Is that in...
I've been asking for them to chop them down, but they won't do it.
Yeah. Can you
What do you mean pruned?
Well, cut down.
Just cut down.
They ain't going to cut them down.
No, they're not.
End of. They may take the lower branches off, probably.
It's the high branches, it's the leaves and that stops the light going into the house.
Stop the camera. I've tried many times to get them to. I don't know if they do any good, but some people will like them, some people won't. They do raise the space on the road there. Some of them are leaning, which is not good, but I'll take that up again and see what we can do with that. Put that down to me, Chair.
Council, no. Right, so it's the payment schedules.
Yeah. Payment schedules, yes, Bob.
Unless there's any particular queries, and I don't think there's been anything put through, I'd like to propose in block both the payment schedule and the income and expenditure schedule on block.
Just before you go there, Bob.
Yeah.
British Gas. Do they still owe us money?
Yes. Oh, back. It's back, is it? It's back.
That's back.
Oh, right.
That's been sorted out.
Under the income, the detailed income, label of the plan, why it says actual year to date 7,533.
Yeah.
That's how much we've got.
That's the grant.
That's the grant. So we've spent 2,500 on the
Printing. Can we formally move them and vote on them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Noted.
All in favour?
Oh! I thought we were voting, Chair, sorry.
That's not good.
Yeah, you did, yeah. Not correct, but there you go.
Do we need to do item 17? Right, so...
No.